Yeah, hi everybody. I want to talk about HTML content today in Centricity. And what I'm going to do is demonstrate what is programmatically possible with HTML and some of the newer functionality that solves some of the long-standing issues with using clinical content in Centricity. We're gonna be looking at an orthopedic office visit form, and I want to really focus on the methodologies and the programming in the form, and not in the form in particular. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'm going to open this visit. One of the things you're going to notice here is that it's a single page view. So what we've been able to do is sort of put all of the office visit functionality into a single view. This is really geared towards voice recognition. So it's for providers that tend to use voice recognition or are fast typers. One of the things I really love to show is this historical form. So in the EMR, and really all EMRs, it can be difficult to reconstruct a patient's history. It's often easy to see the previous value, so just insert a previous and look at it, but to really reconstruct a patient's history like you could do in a chart in a flip the page way is really difficult. And you can see I have a historical form running in here. I just clicked that and I can see the entire visit from last time. I can click previous and see the visit before that. I can even hit this drop down and see all prior visits if I want to jump to the first visit and look at this. If I wanted to use the impression from that visit, I could click U and that would insert into the visit. I could also insert all of them today. And then when I flip back over here, I can see that it inserted that impression. So love that historical form. We've created that for a lot of different specialties. And so let's talk about HTML functionality. So anybody who's been using Centricity for a while can see immediately that this visually looks different. It's a more modern, a less flat look to it. It's more dynamic looking. It has a broader spectrum of colors available. I want to key in on a few items here that are really, I think, game changers for using clinical content in Centricity. First and foremost, and the reason why I mention it first is I think it's the most important, because every provider's computer is a little different. Some providers have big monitors, some have 2 monitors, some are using little laptops, some are using tablets. This content built with this HTML functionality can resize based on the size of your monitor to take advantage of the entire real estate. So you can see here I'm using every piece of real estate here. So if I shrink this down to a smaller, it resizes based on the size of the monitor. So functionally what it means is no right to left scrolling, and that's really super nice, especially in the remote desktop environment where there can be multiple scroll bars. So that's one feature. The other feature, and we hear this a lot, is about font size. Yeah, so with font size, and we know that everybody's vision is a little bit different. You can see here if I type, here, this is a 60-year-old man, with knee pain, and I can come down here to physical exam and say, right knee demonstrates no effusion. So you can immediately see that the font sizes are different. So we can change the font size. If your provider's like a little bit bigger font or a lot bigger font, we can change that font size on this content. So that's pretty nice. And then the last thing I want to sort of talk about is the 2,000 character limitation. And this is a painful limitation that Centricity has that only 2,000 characters can go into. So we see providers having multiple boxes. Sometimes you nest a box on top of it. So with this content, we can actually we can get around that completely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the previous value here, and then what I'm going to do is just copy this, and I'm going to just paste it in here. And so we know that that's well over 2,000 characters, and you can see that we've totally gotten around this. We still store this discretely. We split this, if it's 4,000 characters or 3,800 characters, we split it into 2 observations. If it's more, we can split that into observation 2,000 character chunks at a time into multiple observations. There's no issue with storing it. There's no issue with bringing it forward previously. So it really, for all practical purposes and for the providers, we totally get around the 2,000 character limitation. So this is a huge step in the right direction for using clinical content. And so, yeah, those are the key things I wanted to talk about. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Yeah, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.